This video is on naming and writing formulas for hydrates. As the name implies, hydrates involve water, and these are specifically with ionic compounds. Sometimes water molecules, since they are so tiny, they can kind of get trapped inside the crystal lattice structure of an ionic compound. And when that happens, we have a hydrate. The amount of water that is in there can affects the mass of that chemical. It can also affect its reactivity and sometimes its color. Usually there are two different forms of a chemical. There is the hydrate version for those that do form hydrates, and there is the anhydrous version. The anhydrous version is the one that has no water. So, and we can make a hydrate into the anhydrous version by adding heat and driving the water off. Now, in naming hydrates, the way you're going to do this is you're going to write the name of the compound, the ionic compound, just like we've been doing. Then you are going to write the prefix for the number of water molecules present. So the prefixes that we're going to be using are these right here. Only the first four, I think, are a little tricky. So if there's only one, we would call it mono. Two is di. In chemistry, di means two. And we're going to see these later on, so this will help you. It'll also help you with the polyatomic ion dichromate. That means we've got two chromiums in there. Three is tri. That one's pretty regular. And four in chemistry is tetra. We'll use these again as we get into naming molecules. After four, they go by pretty regular geometric shapes like penta as in pentagon, hexa as in hexagon, hepta, octa, nona, deca, and it just goes pretty regular from there. So really the only four are the ones you have to worry about. So you're going to write the prefix for the number of water molecules present, and then you're going to attach the word hydrate, which means that we have water involved. So here's an example. I have calcium sulfate, we would name that. And then two, the prefix for two is di. And then for water, we're going to write hydrate. So the name of this is calcium sulfate dihydrate. Knowing how to name hydrates makes you sound super smart. Here's another example. So let's say I have this. All right, I'm going to name the ionic compound here. And this is, oops, I'll give you the example, cobalt and chloride. Now, cobalt is a transition metal, so we do have to tell the charge of that cobalt. And so for this one, that 2 came from cobalt. So this is cobalt 2 chloride. The prefix for 5 is penta. And then for water, we're going to write hydrate. So this is cobalt 2 chloride pentahydrate. Sounding smarter all the time. All right, now writing the formula for hydrates. The first thing you're going to do is write the chemical formula of the ionic compound using your charges and crisscrossing. Then you're going to put a bold dot. It's not a multiplication sign or anything like that. It's just a bold dot. You write the number of water molecules indicated by the prefix. And then you're going to write H2O. So let's use the same example and just go from the name and we can write the formula. So cobalt 2 chloride, cobalt has a charge of 2 positive, and it's the Roman numeral that tells me this. Chloride, it ends in IDE, so I know it's an element, so that's chlorine. The sum of the oxidation numbers is not 0, so I got to crisscross. So this is CO, Cl2. Then I put a bold dot. Penta means 5, and hydrate means water. So what this says is that there are 5 water molecules trapped in each formula unit of cobalt 2 chloride.